Welcome to Dump Truck Toolbox. I'm Alan, and today we're going to be watching paving and talking about paying for truck repairs. As we watch paving, I want to talk about paying for truck repairs. You can see the asphalt coming out of the chute for another big orange triaxle. I love the way the sun is shining through there and showing off the mist and the vapor. So in the last couple weeks, my big orange triaxle has had a range of repairs it needed. And some of them were small, not a big deal. Replaced a taillight, replaced the washer sprayer on one of the windshield wipers. A couple were bigger. I had to replace, not me, my company had to replace 2 tires. One of the traction tires had a nail in it, and it turned out the tread was in such bad shape it wasn't worth repairing, so whole new tire. And then I had a drop axle tire that had some misshapen tread and some bubbles in it, and we replaced that as well. So there's my empty weight, 23,000 pounds, 11 and a half tons. Then I also have had the drop axle itself stop functioning. The repair was an easy one. It took a little while for the mechanic to diagnose it, but ultimately it was just a matter of redoing a little bit of the wiring, so not a big material cost. My total weight there was right at 60,000 pounds, 30 tons, so I have right about 18 tons of asphalt. And so I pull over here. I'm going to put my tarp back. The issue with the drop axle not working, though, is I loaded out milling on site, probably 15 miles away. The truck was close to full, and I was not going to go down the road with that drop axle not working because of the potential for a hefty fine that would have been my responsibility. Quite honestly, it should be. And so we had to have a service call. And if I were an individual owner-operator, that would have been a major expense just to get the mechanic to come out with a truck full of tools and spare parts. And then I've had this persistent set of issues with my air conditioning. I've bragged on the air conditioning in this truck when I first got it. It's very, very comfortable when it works, but for the last couple weeks, it keeps losing its charge. The refrigerant escapes, and then it stops working and just blows hot air. I'm pulling into the neighborhood where we're going to do the paving. Every time I've pulled in, we've been working in this neighborhood for a couple weeks, and every time I've pulled in, almost every time, it's like, well, where's the crew? Milling or paving? It's like, okay, let me go drive around in my big orange triaxle and hopefully see some big orange stuff. There it is. There's another big orange triaxle. I'm actually backing up to the paving machine. There's the tack truck putting down the chemical that helps the hot asphalt stick to the milled surface. Also, you see the dotted line there. That helps the paver line up. So the air conditioner, my truck's been in the shop for 5 times, maybe 6, and every time there's been diagnosis. Usually some repair has been attempted and a recharge of refrigerant, and then within a day or so it's stopped working again. So they've ordered more parts. I'm hopeful that they'll finally have the fix. Okay, just backed up to the paver. I'm going to raise my bed here after I get all the switches set. If you're an individual owner-operator, that last week or two and the life of my truck's repair record would have been a pretty hefty financial bill. You'd be paying, obviously, for the parts and the labor and the road call, and that would have run couple $1,000s. Okay, so my bed's up. The asphalt's coming out. It's showing up in the hopper there. You can see it a little bit on the left side, I think. And now the paver is pushing my dump truck down the road. The hot asphalt's coming out slowly into their hopper, and then it's getting spread and rolled onto the road. So how do you handle these large repair bills? Sinking fund, absolutely necessary. You should have a large pool of money, and you should be putting money into that pool every time you do your finances, your budget, and your payment. Here's some data that I've shared earlier this year on Dump Truck Toolbox that gives the average maintenance and repair cost per mile of operating the truck. And you'll notice it starts off relatively low, about 50 cents a mile for a brand new truck while it's under warranty. It then climbs in sort of the intermediate years, and eventually it stabilizes about year 14 or so at about $2.50 per mile average maintenance and repair cost. And you need to be putting that money aside in advance, so when you're hit with a repair bill, a little one for a light bulb or a big one for repairing a transmission, you have the money at hand. So you got to have that sinking fund, and it's got to start off big enough. I would say 20 or 30,000 is not unreasonable. I've told the story before of how the first dump truck I was supposed to drive needed a $45,000 engine rebuild, and after it was rebuilt, it still didn't work. And eventually the owner operator decided to get rid of that truck because he didn't have the money or the patience to put into it. The second thing is to think about a line of credit, maybe with the bank or credit union or whoever you've financed your truck with. Just say, hey, I need to have a line of credit for unexpected major repairs. Strongly warn you against using credit card debt. That can quickly turn into a pit that it is very hard to get out of. Your credit card is one of the most expensive ways to make major purchases, second only to the loan shark who lives around the corner. So credit card debt's not a good idea. Negotiate that line of credit. I just slapped my tailgate a few times, went back to check it. It had asphalt sticking in the back of it on an earlier run. This time it's perfectly clean. So get back in and put the bed down. You also need to be able to cover the time the truck is down. My company lost probably 8 to 10 hours of time, which for my company just means some projects went a little slower. But if you're an owner-operator, that 8 or 10 hours would be additional money that you need to have on hand. So those are my thoughts on how to pay for major repairs. Be prepared, have that sinking fund, negotiate a line of credit, stay away from credit cards if you can. Thanks again for joining us on the channel today. If you found our conversation on paying for truck repairs or the paving useful or interesting, please click the like button. As always, appreciate any comments that you might want to add, and subscribe if you haven't done so. This is Alan. I look forward to seeing you again soon on the Dump Truck Toolbox.